Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Aaron Hilliard. Welcome to another episode of Mushroom Wonderland. It's a perfect day for picking candy caps, Lactarius rubitus. This is a really interesting mushroom with a lot of really good uses. When it's dried, it smells so pungently like maple syrup, but when they're wet, you can't smell them at all. So on this episode, I'm going to show you how to find these, how to identify them, what kind of habitat they grow in, and maybe some recipes for the holidays. So join me on this episode of Mushroom Wonderland when we talk about candy caps.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
This mushroom is known as Lactarius rubitus, or the candy cap mushroom. But what's crazy is I often find these right next to the side of the trail, and it's like they like to get their spores to hitch a ride on your pant leg or something. So it makes hunting these pretty dang easy because I just stick to the trails this time of year. The candy cap is a mycorrhizal mushroom, meaning that these are growing with some of the conifers here in the Pacific Northwest, namely the Douglas fir. And they actually will hook up with pretty young trees. Chanterelles usually would need like a 40 or 50-year-old tree. These will do with a 25-year-old tree, it seems like in my experience. And a little bit of a hint, I usually find hazelnut trees where I find my big patches of candy caps. One really crazy thing about a candy cap is that I don't smell any kind of maple syrup odor at all when it's fresh. But when you dehydrate these, it can be so potent. Honestly, it can be a little bit off-putting. I have actually had to throw away a pair of mountain biking gloves. I picked a ton of these, and the gloves smelled like they were dipped in old pancake syrup and just never got clean, and it became kind of like a nuisance. The smell was so strong. Also happened to a backpack of mine. So be mindful about what you're collecting them in, because it will smell like you spilled a bunch of maple syrup in there. Beware, because you don't smell them when they're fresh. Trust me, when they are dried, they are going to be very strong, and whatever resin is on here that gives them that smell, it's on your fingers when you're picking them, and it's in whatever vessel you're putting them in. So the candy cap is a very potently pungent mushroom, and if yours aren't, or you're having to use your imagination at all to smell the maple syrup when they're dry, it's definitely not them. I mean, it takes no imagination. It's very, very strong and noticeable. All right, so here's a full spread of Lactarius rubitus. Lactarius means it lactates, and if I cut the gills like this, we'll see what's known as lactation come out. Now, the lactation on the Lactarius rubitus is this milky color. It's never totally clear, definitely not dark red, and it's actually, it looks like milk coming out of the gills. So when you damage the gills on a milky cap or on a Lactarius, then they lactate. So it makes sense why they're called a Lactarius. Rubitus means deep red or dark red, which these certainly are not. They're really kind of an orange color, and then they get a little bit darker right in the disc. That's the center of the cap. So you can see they're kind of flat, a little bit wavy of a cap, and orange, pretty bright orange. You know, these stand out against the leaf litter. Just a little bit of damaging will make them lactate like that. So as I'm looking along the side of the trail, I'm seeing a couple of smaller ones, you know, kind of that size, that are not the greatest, but as I look right back here into the ferns, look what we got here. Whoa, candy cap mania. Look at this. Whoa, they're everywhere. Awesome. So I'll tell you right now, these things do not smell anything like maple syrup when they're in the wild. They just smell slightly fungal, like a mushroom. So if you're discarding mushrooms on the basis that they don't smell like maple syrup, you could be really doing yourself a disservice. All right, you guys, I just pulled this up. This might be the biggest candy cap I've ever found. Look, it's got kind of an orange peel type surface. This one's huge. Typically, they're no bigger than like a 50-cent piece or maybe the opening of a shot glass or a big tablespoon or something. But this guy, this is easy, 2 inches across. That's a big candy cap right there. Check this out. I dug up these 2 candy caps that are literally growing right off of the root of a tree here. And I'm not sure if it's this pine tree right here or if it's these hazelnuts, but I always find these hazelnut leaves near the candy caps. They love to grow with hazelnuts. So whatever root this is, had I been a little more careful, maybe I could have followed it back to where it originated from. But here they are growing right off the very tip of the root. And that's a good example of ectomycorrhiza. The Lactarius mycelium is growing around the outside of this root, and this is where it decided to fruit. So beautiful Lactarius rubitus, or the candy cap. Dang, a lot of candy caps growing out here this year. Should have brought a bigger tackle box, I guess. But they're just growing in huge numbers, and don't be afraid to get in the brush. They're back in there. Lactarius rubitus. Hey, so I'm here with my daughter Jenna. Today we're gonna make some candy cap cookies. What do you think of that mushroom? Tell me what you really think of what it smells like.
They smell like maple syrup, exactly like maple syrup.
Crazy, huh?
It's really crazy. They smell really, really good.
Awesome. Yeah, so we got just this little bit right here, but I think this is gonna be more than enough to make a batch of cookies. So we're gonna grind them up in the coffee grinder. Wow, that's just like...
I wouldn't even think those are mushrooms.
Right? Now you would...
They are like maple powder or something.
Totally. It smells so good. We have 2 3/4 cups flour going in, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoons of salt. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. All right, we're gonna whisk all the dry ingredients together. All right, we're gonna put the butter into a bowl. We're gonna whisk that. We're gonna add in 1 3/4 cups of granulated sugar and whisk that all together. All right, we decided to throw the butter and sugar mixture into the KitchenAid just to get it really nicely whipped. You could do this by hand, but we have one of these, so. We're gonna add in 1 full egg, 1 egg yolk. All right, now we're gonna just take the grinder and dump the candy cap powder right into there. So in lieu of vanilla extract that a lot of these recipes call for, we're gonna put in these candy caps. All right, once again, we're gonna mix all this stuff up until it's well combined. All right, this is our butter, sugar, candy cap mixture. And now we're gonna add in the dry ingredients and mix this on low until it's all really well combined. All right, there we go. It's pretty well combined, looking pretty crumbly. We're gonna add a 1/2 cup granulated sugar to roll the cookies in. All right, we're gonna take this mixture, roll it into little balls, about 2 tablespoons worth, and then roll it in sugar and set them a couple inches apart on the cookie sheet with the parchment paper on it. Go ahead and throw these in the oven for 10 to 14 minutes, just keeping an eye on them. They're gonna lay down, and we actually kind of want to pull them out a little bit before we think they're done, because they'll keep cooking. So when the time is up, we're gonna pull these out, and we want them where they're just like a little golden on the edges like that. And we're gonna let them cool down. Those are pretty, but you don't want to overcook them or they won't be all chewy and soft. All right, so we got the candy cap cookies here. Let's give them a try. Gonna try one, Anna? This is my other daughter sporting the Mushroom Wonderland shirt. Oh man.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. It's crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside.
That's a good cookie.
That is really awesome.
Good cookies and stuff.
So, candy cap cookies for the win.
I'm proud of us. This is a good homemade cookie.
They really are good.
They're really good. I think we did a good job.
Yeah. Thanks for helping make the candy cap cookies.
Of course.
I hope that you got some value out of this video about Lactarius rubidis, or the candy cap. This is a fun late season mushroom, one of the last mushrooms we're gonna see before the really hard freezes come and we might start worrying about snow. But I've seen these growing in the snow even all the way into January and stuff. So Lactarius rubidis, the candy cap, really fun mushroom, and they're out right now. So make sure to get out there, and thank you for hitting subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Make sure to go to mushroom-wonderland.com to get some merch. We'll see you on the next one. Much love, everybody. Peace.